Good morning, viewers. In this tutorial, I'm going to be doing a senior six paper, a theory paper that was done a few weeks ago. It was S6 theory, UNEB Subsidiary ICT 2025, the very last paper in the old way of learning. So this paper was done a few weeks ago, something like 2 weeks ago, and it's what I'm going to share with you in this very tutorial or video. So this is the cover photo for that video, the cover photo that's going to be available at my channel to portray this very tutorial I'm doing on the 4th of December 2025. So far I've done a number or a couple of videos that are now heading to 120, and yeah, the very last video I did was about S6 sample practical questions, and I've done the approach for ICT UNEB 2025 paper 2 item 1, that is S4. So if you're an S4 learner, feel free to play that video and watch it. I'm talking about a learner who is heading to senior 4 in the current senior 3 class. I've also done a senior 5 video, practical video. So those are some of the latest videos I've done at my YouTube channel. And also, I'm going to do a senior 6 subsidiary ICT theory paper 1 guide for UNEB 2025. It's having solutions for that paper, and it's the very last paper, the very last theory paper in the old way of learning. Okay, so straight away I'm going to go to the very first number of that paper, the number one that was portrayed in that paper. So I took a few shots. So these are the shots I took, and I'm going to be zooming in, and then I do question per question up to the very last question in this paper. So here's my first shot. Here's the first number that was in that paper, the number one that was in that theory paper. Number one was Akulo left her office when her computer was working normally, and the following day the computer failed to start. Suggest any three possible causes of computer failure. Now here they wanted some of the causes of computer failure because she left her computer working in her office, and the next day the computer wasn't working. So what are some of the issues that could have affected her machine? Now, number one, the very first issue can be power supply issues. So it's the very first issue that could have affected her machine. Maybe the power supply got issues. The computer may have PSU issues, power supply unit issues, due to power problems or fluctuations. Also, the power cables could have issues. Maybe they're not fitted firmly into the power cables. I mean, into the power sockets. Yeah. So the power cables could have issues. They're not fitted firmly into the power sockets, or the fuse in the cables are having issues. Or even there's an issue of drained battery in case it's a laptop. In case it's a laptop, yeah, maybe the battery has been drained and the battery is at 0%, and the computer cannot start in case it is a laptop. Or even there are virus issues, or even software configuration issues. Maybe there's a problem with operating system of the computer, etc. I'm not saying that those are the only issues that can affect the computer so that it doesn't start, but they're just my ideas to the question one, part A. Part B, name any two tools which are used in the maintenance of a computer hardware. There are many tools like screwdrivers, dust blowers, foam cleaners, etc. etc. That was number one of that paper, UNEB 2025 S6. Define the term information processing cycle. That is a very common question. It is in S5 ICT, the old curriculum. So the IPC, information processing cycle, is a series of steps data goes through to become useful information involving four stages. That is input, processing, output, and storage. It was even the next question there. That the illustration below shows the stages of an information processing cycle. So the next part was name the stages labeled A. A was input, B processing, C output, and D storage. Those are just the stages of information processing cycle. A series of steps data goes through to become useful information. That was number 2. Number 3, explain the significance of post in the booting process. Post is power on self-test. That is just post in full. But I wanted the importance of post in the booting process. When the computer is starting, what is the use of post? Power on self-test. Now, post is going to verify the computer's core hardware. That is CPU, RAM, hard disk drive, that is HDD, before the OS loads. Yeah, so the post is going to check whether those fundamental hardware components are working properly. The CPU, the RAM, and the hard disk. Those are the most important parts of a computer during booting. So the post checks whether they are working properly before the operating system is loaded. And if they're working properly, it's a green light. If it's the opposite, if they're not working properly, then you're going to hear a series of beeps that represent maybe a fault in one of the major hardware components. So the post does that. Part B is suggests two incidents that can necessitate one to onboard a computer. Now, onboarding is just restarting a computer. Under what circumstances can one restart a computer? It's what they wanted. 1. After installation of a software or after uninstallation of a software. 2. When the computer freezes. There are so many. After attachment of hardware like old mice and keyboards, the computer may prompt a restart or a onboard. Start the use of a bootstrap loader in relation to booting process. Now, just a bootstrap loader is just a program that starts up the operating system when the computer is turned on. That loader is going to just help a machine start up an operating system there in case it is turned on. It helps a machine start up an operating system like Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 11 when the computer is turned on. So bootstrap loader does that. Number 4, give the functionality of a barcode reader. At number 4, I could use some internet. I could use some internet at number 4 to just see how maybe a barcode looks like, something like that. I could reduce on the size of this, and then I can do this. So at my search engine, I'm going to just load an image of a barcode. I can type maybe barcode reader and barcode reader and a barcode. Then I can go back to this. I go to images. Yeah, so this is it. Yeah, I want to use that too. Anyway, I want to use this and this. Now at the question here, they wanted the functionality of a barcode reader. Now the barcode reader is that device. It's this device, this one that's being held, or even this one, a barcode. It's just a device that's responsible for reading barcodes. Yeah, it's responsible for reading barcodes on devices so that it can show you the price of a certain device. So the question, they wanted the functionality of a barcode reader, and then the answer is, and then I was just trying to draw something like a barcode. that can be portrayed on the device, like even this one here, or even this one that is portrayed on this box, or even this one. This one is a barcode, and this one, the device is a barcode reader. So what's the use of a barcode reader? A barcode reader is going to read or capture the decoded data from printed barcodes, translating light and dark lines into a format the computer can understand and process. Yeah, a barcode is going to read the decoded data. What is the decoded data? The decoded data is this one. It's this one here. The data that has been changed, and it should be read by the barcode reader so that the price of a commodity is returned. Yeah. So the barcode reader is going to read the decoded data that's having a series of that's having dark lines and some numbers, and then afterwards a price of a commodity is going to be returned, of course, to the user. Yeah, so the computer understands the barcodes, but the human doesn't understand the barcodes. The human understands the price that is going to be returned after the barcodes have been read. So the barcode reader does that. And next up at part B, they were asking state any three types of data contained in barcodes. So they're asking us what is the type of data that is found in these barcodes. Number one, there's one. It's one dimension short numeric data. So short numeric data, those are numbers. So in this barcode, you can find numbers. Yeah, you can find numbers there. You can also find alphanumeric identifiers, some letters there in the barcodes, in the data that is found in the barcodes. You can even find alphanumeric identifiers. You can also find 2D, two dimension, and these can contain URLs, contact details, and other small files about the device. So that is the type of data that you can find in the barcodes. Yeah. Number 5, the table below shows examples of system software. Yeah. Tick appropriately the category to which each of the examples belongs. So examples of system software: Avast, Kaspersky, Norton. Now those are antiviruses and they fall under system utility. Basic is a programming language, falls under programming language. Linux is an operating system, falls under operating system software. Pascal is a programming language, falls under that, and Windows Uninstaller is a system utility and it falls under that. Number 6. State the use of a domain name. State the use of a domain name. Now, before even go to the use of a domain name, what is a domain name? If I use my search engine to search for domain name and then I use images to portray my example. Now, if I can use an example of a URL here, yeah, this URL here, so the URL here is going to display the domain name that's part of it's part of a URL, a uniform resource locator. It's a path that locates a file on the net, but the domain name is part of that URL. So it starts right before the www, and the domain name comes here. That domain dot name dot com or domain minus name dot com. So domain comes after the www. There are many examples. There's also another domain that is right here. Maybe I can put domain name with a company name. Domain name with a company name. Yeah, right here. After the www, there's a domain name that fits mallbusiness.com. the domain name, maybe trying to locate a company online. So domain name can hold a company name in a URL, in a uniform resource locator. So here they're asking us, what is the use of a domain name? And I was trying to use a domain of maybe New Vision, a company in Uganda, that a domain name is a unique human-friendly address that people use to access a website or the internet. So it is human friendly and it can help people access a website on the net. Now the way it is written, it is human friendly. If I can go back to this example, fit fitsmallbusiness.com. That is human friendly. You can recall that it's fitsmallbusiness.com. So it's human friendly and can help one locate maybe a company or some other location on the net. Unlike where the URL starts from, this may not be human friendly. It may even be hard to grasp in the head, but the domain is just easier to grasp. That fits smallbusiness.com. I was even using New Vision. That newvision.com. It is easier to grasp in the head and it can help one access a website on the net. It also establishes a unique online identity and brand on the internet. Next up was explain the following website types. A portal. A portal, common at universities and e-learning portals. A portal is a type of website that provides personalized, secure entry points to a vast amount of information, consolidating data from various sources into a single interface for a specific audience. Now, a learner cannot write all that, of course. It is hard to grasp in the head, but some of the keywords here are: a portal is a type of website that is going to consolidate all data from various sources into a single interface that can easily be accessed by a certain audience. Take an example of a university portal. A university portal is a small website that is going to collect a lot of data into a single location, so that a learner can access all that data there, provided they can log in with a username and a password. Now, examples of portals, I can use maybe university university portal. Yeah, so there's an example of a university portal here. There's Makerere University, Ubusitema University, many universities have different portals. Now, if you look at this portal, a learner just logs into it, and then after logging into it, they're able to find a lot of data that has been consolidated from various sources. Yeah, and that data is forwarded to a specific audience. That specific audience is the learner. Yeah, a learner can go to a portal to access fees payment, to access results, to access information about the university, to access a lot of stuff concerning their university. So that's the meaning of a portal as a type of website. Then a blog, also called a web blog, it's another type of website that is regularly updated, and it's of course regularly updated by a blogger. It's only ran or operated by a blogger, and it's regularly, visited. So that content like articles, opinions, diaries, they are all changed on a daily or weekly. So examples of blogs include Fashion Jackson, TechCrunch, there are many, etc. Number 7 of that paper, the UNEB Subsidiary ICT Paper, Theory 2025, is select a device from the given list that matches with the statements A to E. Part A: the hardware and software device that connects different networks is referred to as, that is, a gateway. Part B: A network device which regenerates signals to send over a long distance is, that is a repeater. Part C, a device with several network interface ports that enable many computers to be connected on the network is a switch, and a device used to connect similar networks is referred to as a bridge. And E, a device that converts a signal from analog to digital and vice versa is a modem. 8 of that paper suggest computer threats that can be prevented by the following security measures. Data encryption. Now, data encryption is going to prevent which threat? Whenever someone changes data that makes it hard to be understood. What are they trying to prevent? They're trying to prevent unauthorized access. B, installation of surge protectors. Surge protectors is just they are preventing power surges or power issues. And C, burglar proofing. What are they trying to prevent? They're trying to prevent physical force attacks or physical attacks at that part C of that paper. Part D, it is instituting a computer user logs. Whenever we come up with computer user logs, what are we trying to prevent? We are trying to prevent unauthorized access as well. Anyway, a computer user log is a digital file containing information about events and activities performed by a user. So, files containing activities that have been performed by a user, those are called user logs. So they are put aside. We are trying to prevent unauthorized access and also backup important files. What are we trying to prevent? We're trying to prevent data loss when we back up our files. Heading to number 9. Number 9 had some spreadsheet for Excel. Describe the term cell as used in data management office applications. So a cell is just an intersection uh, of a column, letter, and a row number in a spreadsheet, i.e. cell A1 is an intersection of column A and number 1. If I can open my Excel here, and then I explain the meaning of a cell. So if this is my Excel, the cell can mean this. It's an intersection of a column letter and a row number. Any cell, any box I'm clicking at is a cell. Now just like this one is cell A1 because it is an intersection of column letter A and row number 1. This one is cell K6 because it's an intersection of letter K and number 6. That is the meaning of a cell. The table below shows results of students in a 6 Sub ICT class. Use it to answer the questions I and II. So that is the data that is in the table, and it's just having the marks of learners that did a subsidiary ICT test maybe. And part I was give the name of the application software which was used to enter and store the above data. Now the software is Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, that is Excel. And part B, write a formula that would be used to calculate Subi James's mark out of 40 using absolute cell reference. So the cell here could help us do our absolute cell reference, and we are required to mark to get Subi James's mark out of 40 using absolute. So equals B4 out of 100 because Subi's mark is in B4 here. Equals B4, we are using a formula, so we're just going with equals B4 out of 100. We were not putting anything like product because we're using a formula. Equals B4 stroke out of 100 times this cell that is having the 40 we want, that is made absolute, that is locked. Equals B4 times $C $10. $C $10 means that C10 has been locked with absolute cell reference because it's what the question wanted. Next up, a quick reminder, we are doing this paper. We are doing this paper, uh, Subsidiary ICT, the UNEB paper 2025, the S6, the very last paper in the old way of learning. As I'm heading to number 10 of that paper. So number 10 of this very paper is right here, and it is asking us to explain the term ethical issues as used in ICT. So what are ethical issues as used in ICT? These are moral principles concerning the right and wrong ways of using information and communication technologies. Yeah, those issues can include privacy, security, etc. etc. So ethical issues are just moral principles concerning the right way and wrong ways of using ICTs. Yeah, that's the meaning of ethical issues. And B, outline three ways in which ICTs have improved service delivery in Ugandan schools. So how have ICTs improved on service delivery in Ugandan schools? There are a lot of points here, but I just came up with this. Number one is school pay systems. So schools use ICT systems to pay learners school fees electronically rather than ancient manual means like mobile money, school pay, Momo, etc. etc. So school pay systems is one of the ways ICTs have improved service delivery in schools in Uganda. Next up is parental engagement. Schools use communication softwares and applications for communication between students and their parents, like Zoom, Skype, WhatsApp, SMS, etc. etc. Next is enhanced access to resource and improved learning. So now ICTs like projectors, internet have enhanced classroom learning and brings about modern learning. It makes learning fun. So these days, ICTs like projectors, internet are used in learning. So they have enhanced access to resources and have made learning fun. So it's another way how ICTs have improved service delivery in schools. So I came up with the three: school pay systems, parental engagement, that is communication systems, and enhancement of learning and access of resources in schools. 11. State any three factors, as I'm heading to number 11, that states any three factors you would consider before buying a printer. Yeah. What are some of the factors you would consider when buying a printer? A printer, if I can use my search engine, when you're buying a printer, of course, you should go with modern uh, printers. Modern printers. Yeah. So when you're buying printers, examples of printers are right here. When you're going for printer, you go for modern printers rather than uh, going for ancient ancient printers. You go for modern printers than going for ancient printers. Though these ones are so ancient, but there's a printer I was looking for. Uh, Maybe I can go with impact. Yeah, impact like this one here. Yeah, impact printers could be so so hectic to deal with rather than modern printers. So the printers one can go for are right here. The modern printer, the printers that are used currently. So what are some of the factors you consider when buying a printer or when purchasing a printer? Number one is connectivity. A printer that supports a lot of connections like USB, modern ports. It has wireless connection, that is Bluetooth. It can connect on a network wirelessly, can connect on a smartphone. So you can go for that printer that has that connectivity power. You can also go for a printer that has a very good print quality. It prints quality output. Print quality output. Maybe you can go with quality output like papers. Printers with a better print output are much more better to deal with. Even print speed, it should be fast. That is to say, some printers can print 10 pages per minute, while others can print 50 pages per minute. You can go with 50 pages per minute. That printer is way better. So that is the print speed. Give any two advantages of flash disk over a hard disk. Part B of that question, a flash disk is more portable as compared to a hard disk that is even bulky or heavy. 2. A flash disk is silent in operation and speedy as compared to a hard disk. There are many advantages, but I just aim up with that. A flash disk can also work externally rather than a hard disk that is found inside the computer. 12. Write true or false against each of the following statements. That was number 12 of that paper, S6 Theory Subsidiary ICT UNEB 2025. So part A, system software accomplishes user tasks in a computer. That is false. System software does not accomplish user tasks. It's just application that does that. System software coordinates computer hardware. That is true. Windows Media Player is an example of a system software. That is false. Windows Media Player is an application. Application software provides a platform for system software to run. False. A computer can operate without programming languages. True. A computer can operate without any programming language that is being run on it. As we go to number 13 of that very paper, number 13 is right here. Choose the appropriate acronym from the list below to fill the blank parts. It's part A to E. A unique location or reference for a specific resource on the World Wide Web. Yeah, that is a URL. That is a unique location or reference for of a specific resource on the www. That is a URL. And part B is a numeric address uniquely assigned to each computer or device on the network is an IP, Internet Protocol. Images, text, videos, audio files which are transferred over the World Wide Web must conform to a set of rules abbreviated as HTTP. The capacity of a data transmission media can be measured in Mbps. Yeah, an organization that provides internet connection and services to people stroke institutions is called ISP. They give internet to people or institutions. Number 14. Explain the term data communication as used in ICT. That was number 14 of our paper we are doing. Now, data communication is the transfer of digital information from two or more devices through a transmission media like cables that is bonded or wireless that is unbonded. Data communication is the transfer of that digital data from one point to another. That's the answer. And part B, differentiate between local area network and wide area network, LAN and WAN. So using my internet once again, if I can type LAN versus WAN as the two types of networks. Now LAN is just a small network that connects computers within a room, and WAN is wide. It connects a lot of LANs. You see here, the LANs, maybe this LAN is one room, another room, another room, another room. LAN is a network that connects nodes or computers within a room, and WAN is a network that connects multiple LANs. Yeah, that is the difference between the two, and it's what I wrote here. that LAN is a network that connects devices or nodes within a small limited area like a room, home, office, or a lab. WAN is a network that connects multiple LANs across a large geographical area like a city or a country. Now, part C was state one example of a guided transmission media. A guided transmission media, that's a cable or a wire, and the example I had there is twisted pair cable. So there are many. There's a coaxial and there's also a fiber optic cable. 15. Online transfer of data and information has been greatly embraced in our country. List three advantages of online registration. Now, when someone works with online data and information, when you transfer your data online, keep your data online, you know, deal with online registration, what are some of the advantages you're gaining? Number one, it is convenient and accessible. Yeah, unlike the manual means, the physical means that are not even convenient, they require you to move. Now, this one is convenient and it's accessible. It is done anytime without need for physical visits or papers and forms to be filled physically. Another advantage is it is time saving um, for users. It saves time that would have been wasted in moving from one place to another. So online registration also it has an advantage of confirmation. You confirm your data there and then when you're dealing with online means. You either confirm successfully the computer or any device you're using displays that perfectly that successfully registered. If it is the opposite, you will see the message. So the advantage is you can confirm your data easily when you're using online registration. Now the disadvantages, it's what they wanted at the next part, that identify two disadvantages of electronic fund transfer system in your country. So this one's not about money. That what are some of the disadvantages you face when you're electronically transferring money online in your country? The first disadvantage is cyber crimes. Electronic fund transfer are vulnerable to hacking, phishing, and other threats that can lead to an individual fund loss. So it is associated with cyber crimes. Two, it is associated with digital fraud. Digital fraud. So you can be uh, your money can be taken within the grounds of fraud, online fraud. If at all you don't use the right websites, that is HTTP instead of HTTPS. If you use hypertext transfer protocol websites that are not secure, you can easily be stolen electronically. So it's another disadvantage with EFT as I head to number 16 of that paper. This thing is a special effect used to introduce a slide during a slideshow is termed as. So what effect introduces a slide during a slide show? That effect is called a transition. And part B, explain the following terms as used in presentation software. A hyperlink. A hyperlink is a clickable element like a text, shape, image that takes a user to another location. When clicked at, it can take you to another location like within a presentation, another slide, or it can take you in another program if you've clicked at it. It is just a clickable element like a text, shape, or image that can take you to another location when you've clicked at it. And then an animation is a feature that adds motion to elements like text, images, shapes to control the flow and emphasizing of points in your presentation. Yeah, those two features are found in a presentation. If I can just open a presentation program here, yeah, and then I can type something like link, just a clickable element. I can use a text as a link and I can just insert it at insert then link, and then I put where I want the link to take me. I can decide the link to take me to some other location on my computer, anywhere. Yeah, anywhere. I can decide the link to take me to this very folder I'm dealing with, and then okay, that if I click at this link, it can take me there. And then animations are just inserted at a text highlight and give it an animation you may want. That is just PowerPoint. 17. 17 is Fred unplugged a printer from a computer, but it continued printing a document he had sent. Why did the printer continue printing the document? Now, most of the learners confused this with unplugging a printer from electricity. They didn't mean electricity, they meant unplugging the printer cable from the computer, not from the power source. So when you unplug a printer cable from the computer and it continues printing, why do you think that happens? The answer was this. The printer had a print job stored in the computer's memory already, and that print job had not been cancelled yet. Yeah, if you command a printer to print, the print job is stored into your computer memory. And even if you unplug the cable from the computer, the print job has already been sent to the computer. That's why the printer is still printing. If I can access some of the printers I use here, around here, if I can access some of the printers I use, like I use this ecosystems printer. So this this printer has a queue, a line of jobs that have been stored there. Now, for my case, I don't have any job there because I've not commanded any print, But if I command a print, I want to have jobs lined up here. And even if I unplug the cable, the jobs are going to be printed still. Maybe if I want to cancel the jobs I open, then I right click at a job, I select cancel. The job can be cancelled. But if the job is there in the computer memory, however much I unplug that printer cable from the computer, the printer is going to still be printing because the job has already been stored in the computer memory. Outline a set of steps one would follow in order to print a document. So here we are testing learners understanding about printing, that whenever you want to print, in case it is an office program like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, database, just use the shortcut Ctrl P. If you're not okay with the shortcut, just go to File. If I can use Word, if I can use this Word, and maybe I'm printing that. Yeah, maybe I'm printing that and I want to print. I just use Ctrl P. If Ctrl P is hard for me, I go to File, I go to Print. Yeah, and then I select the printer I want to use. Maybe I want to use this one, and then I go to print. It acknowledge they want it there. So in case it's Office, File, Ctrl P, click Print, and then select the printer you are using, and then command a print by clicking Print. It's what was required there. 18. State one function of each of the following parts of a microprocessor or a CPU. A CPU has some of the parts like CU, registers, ALU. So what's the use of each and every part of the CPU? Number one, control unit. It acts as the central coordinator, ensuring that all components within the CPU like ALU, memory, registers work efficiently. So it's just a central coordinator that ensures that all components within the CPU work efficiently. That is the CU control unit. ALU is responsible for performing arithmetic and logical operations. ALU is responsible for performing arithmetic and logic operations at high speed and with accuracy, or even calculations, that is the ALU. Register is a temporary data storage area stores stores instructions during execution. Yeah, that is the register part of the CPU that they use. 19. Name the first two steps that are taken by the central processing unit to run a single instruction. Now, the central processing unit takes a series of steps, therefore, just like the information processing cycle I talked about at number 2, this one also takes for uh, the CPU steps. The first two are fetch, retrieving instructions from memory, and decode, converting data into what the CPU can execute. So therefore, just that this is the first to fetch, decode. There's even execute and store. 19. Distinguish between sender and receiver as elements of data communication. Distinguish between sender and receiver as elements of data communication. Data communication has a lot of elements. There are 5. But here, we pointed out only 2 so that we could show the difference between the 2. However, there are 5, like I said, there is sender, message, receiver, protocol. I'm just forgetting the 5th one. But there's supposed to be 5. Um, data communication, data communication elements. Yeah, sender, receiver, message, protocol. I'm forgetting the 5th one. Yeah, and then transmission media. Those are the 5. But here I wanted the difference between a sender and a receiver. A sender is a device that originates and transmits data, whereas a receiver is the device that receives and interprets the data from the sender. A sender originates or it composes the data to be sent, and a receiver is a device that receives and interprets the data from the sender. Part B. Identify the mode of transmission used by the following devices. Modes of transmission used by the following devices: a walkie-talkie. A walkie-talkie is half duplex transmission mode. One end at a time. Yeah, I mean a walkie-talkie. It's half duplex. You can't communicate simultaneously with a walkie-talkie. A walkie-talkie is just a small device. If I can use my internet here, a walkie-talkie. A walkie-talkie looks like this. It's like a radio call, but used in big houses to communicate in various rooms. So a walkie-talkie is a communication media, but it's half duplex. A TV remote, that is one way, strictly one way. You can't communicate the other way. Just a walkie-talkie, you can. One party can communicate and another one can't. But a TV remote, you communicate one way. That is simplex mode. Telephone supports two-way communication simultaneously. That is full duplex transmission mode. And number 20 of that paper, it was define the term application suite. Define the term application suite as used in ICT. Application suite, it can be a suite or a package. It's a collection of related software programs bundled and sold together as a package. A collection of softwares bundled and sold together as a package. These programs often share a common user interface and can exchange data. So suite is a collection of programs that are sold together as a package, just like the Office suite. The Office suite or package has all those programs that are sold at once: Word, Excel, database, PowerPoint, Outlook. They are just sold, publisher sold as a package, and they almost share the same user interface. Yeah, they almost share the same user interface, and they can also exchange data. So that is it with application suite as used in ICT. Part B of that number 20, it was name three examples of application softwares. There are many. I will start with browsers, Chrome, Safari, etc. Music, application software as in music, Spotify, VLC, Pandora, Apple Music, communication, Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, gaming, Need for Speed, FC, FIFA, etc. etc. Those are the application softwares that are used currently in the world of ICT. Yeah, that was it with the paper of UNEB Subsidiary ICT 2025. And that is my approach. I did this paper some time back, but I've not yet got time to record all the 20 equally weighed questions. So that was my idea about that paper. Feel free to interact with the paper. A teacher out there, you can interact with me. You can comment where I could have gone wrong. We can talk, compliments, etc. etc. A learner, you can just go through to expose your knowledge about ICT. This is the very last step of the old way of learning. S5, the current S5 learners could not find this so important, but it has that knowledge of ICT that you can require. So if you want some knowledge of ICT, yeah, feel free to sit down and watch this tutorial. It's just less than an hour. Sit down and watch it. Get to know some learning. I mean, get to know something regarding learning within ICT. Like some questions here, like that question of a printer. It's very important for a learner to know. There are a lot of questions here. That question number 15, electronic fund transfer. Very important for a learner to know that question. Number 20, important. A lot of questions there. They're very important to even a senior 5 learner out there. So that is it with my approach. I'm not saying that this is the exact thing, but it is my take about that paper of subsidiary ICT 2025 theory paper. Thank you so much for those who are part of my family at my YouTube channel. Those people are part of the 735 subscribers so far I have. Thank you so much. I don't take that for granted. And for those who have at least had a view in the 300 and in the 30, is it 37,855 views. Thank you so much. And if you have at least viewed one of the videos I've uploaded, I thank you a lot. I wish you the rest of the year 2025. I wish you a blessed year 2025 and a new year 2026 that we are yet to go to in a few weeks to come. And like I said, I'm going to be doing some of the chapters, the the chapters in ordinary level, the new lower secondary school curriculum, the practical chapters. Those are the chapters I'm going to be doing in December at my channel. I've been mostly doing approaches from different papers. Like you see, most of the videos are rotating around approaches, approaches, approaches. Yeah, we are going to change the way things flow. We're going to go to topics now. We're going to do topics, topics, topics. Yeah, I'm going to start with practical topics of ICT, ordinary level. And I'm going to start with file management. That is the first practical topic in ICT. So I'll start with file management and word processing one. Before I go to the S2 practical topics, that is S2 has PowerPoint or presentation. S2 has spreadsheets. S2 also has information access and sharing as a practical topic. I will do all the practical topics and also I will do S3 with time. S3 has Word 2, spreadsheet 2, it has databases and it has publisher. Whereas S4 has web design. I think I've done some web design videos a year ago or some months ago. So etc it's what I'm heading to at my YouTube channel. Thanks for viewing and thanks for for those who have clicked at the subscribe button. I thank you a lot. I wish you the rest of the year 2025. I wish you a happy 2026, nice time, and bye bye.